What's up, YouTube? It's your girl ChericeShana, and I'm back with another Love and Hip Hop Hollywood review. This is Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 5, Episode 12, entitled Last Tango with Paris. So, you guys, I told you I'm going to be breezing these reviews by until I get caught up with what I need to be caught up on, and then we could be on one accord. So, you be getting these Love and Hip Hop videos, recaps all the way up until next Monday. Where we'll be resuming where we left off. All right, so let's go ahead and get right on into the video. Of course, I'm not on screen today, you guys, but for the new recaps, I will be on screen. I'm just catching up since I've been moving and I haven't had time to upload videos when I'm supposed to upload them, so I'm doing it now. Okay, moving on. So we're still in London and we're taking a look at the ladies going sightseeing. They end up on a boat. Paris is basically saying that this has turned into an episode of Big Brother and they're losing castmates. First, it was Miss Nikki Baby who decided to leave, and now Moniece is feeling some type of way, so she's not hanging out with them either. She's upset about her son and her cereal and her food being gone. So the ladies talk, and Bridget says that she does not want to be in Moniece's shoes because Moniece has the difficult task of trying to figure out who she's going to befriend, how she's going to be moving going forward, and knowing that stuff is going on behind her back and she's caught in the middle between two friends. It could be very overwhelming. And Brooke also mentions that she doesn't believe that Moniece has been very forthcoming, and her and Moniece have unfinished spoken business about what took place with her at the studio. They said they're going to talk to her. Brooke says that she wants to talk to Moniece and move forward with her, even if they agree to disagree. Now we go over to Apple Watts. Apple Watts is looking really, really nice in her outfit. And where is she going? Someplace she doesn't really go. And that's church. She's making more of an effort now that she's went to some counseling sessions with her dad and the therapist, and she meets her father at church. He asks her how she's doing. She says she's doing good. The kids are living. Everything is good. And then he asks her about her music career. She says that she has known her friend Amber Diamond for a while. They've done music videos together, and her mom is a manager. She's taken on her mom's management, and she's looking to sign with Amber Diamond's mom, Sean Love. The father suggests that he takes a look at the contract, and she goes and says, okay, wait, now you're doing a little bit too much. He then takes matters into his own hands to say he's going to have to do what a father does and go above and beyond to protect his child. I really think that there's something going on with that, especially after the therapist told him to be more of a part-time father. He still wants to take on full-time responsibility. That seems very problematic. Of course, I do believe that somebody else should look over her contract, a lawyer perhaps, but a man who is now recently in your life gets a chance to be on a TV show with his daughter whom he has not raised, and now is forcing himself to take on a full-time parental role when he's been an absentee father for majority of her life, is really not sitting well. So we're going to see what happens with that. On to the next scene. Apple also explains to her dad that she's going to jail for 30 days. This is because she was supposed to go to jail before and she didn't go because she had to work. And so instead of only having to spend a weekend in jail, she got to spend 30 days, which I think is crazy, girl. Like, you think because you don't show up to go to jail that that's it? Like, okay, you had to work? Are you serious? You should have been going to jail when you had to go to jail, because now you're missing more days from work, more days from your kids. It just feels like she made a really, really poor decision not going to jail the first time to get it over with. But her waiting and having to go to jail for a couple extra days when she really didn't have to, it just is pointless to me. But all right, girl. So back in London, Bridget Kelly is going to do some photo shoots with Critical, who is a creative genius who does dope photography. And she's going to be meeting him so that he can take some pics of her. She goes with Brooke, of course. So Brooke asks her why she invited Moniece. And Bridget basically says, she really likes Moniece. Brooke says that she wants to talk to Moniece about that fainting incident at the studio because it's like a big elephant in the room. And she just wants to clear the air with Moniece. So they get to the site where they're taking pictures. Critical is there taking photos of Bridget Kelly. The photos are looking nice. Brooke is like, yes, go Mermaid Kelly. Because, Bridget's got the colorful hair and stuff. Moniece shows up. Brooke pulls her to the side and asks her to speak. And Brooke says, your vibe's been kind of off. Just wanted to know if it was regarding what happened to us the other day. We didn't really get to talk since that happened. And Moniece says, my vibe is off for a couple of different reasons. But as it pertains to you, I kind of feel like you didn't come and trying to be nice. You came in trying to be a little bit messy. And you gave up a messy vibe in the studio. Moniece also says that you coming in and all of that had nothing to do with me fainting. My medicine was changed the night before. My body was just overreacting to it. My body was going out of whack. Brooke then says she does not believe she does not believe her. She believes that she freaked out when she was in the studio. She couldn't hit them notes, so she passed out. She didn't take her seriously. And they basically agreed to disagree. Brooke then says, I did go ahead and sing your song while you went to the hospital. In confessional, Moniece is like, seriously, Brooke, really? Like, you see me going in an ambulance and then you go to sing my song. That's a great way to show support to me. So they make up, they decide they're going to let bygones be bygones. Moniece tells her she can go ahead and keep the song. And it just is what it is. So now we're moving on to the next scene. We now see Jay Will. He's going up to beg to perform for Mr. Ray. He's also saying he has a little something up his sleeve that he wants to do. Jay Will, he's pretty messy. But he walks in. He humbles himself. He apologizes to Mr. Ray. And Mr. Ray says, let me tell you what's going on. Can you believe Lil Brittany is on the flyer to perform for me and she all the way in London? Jay Will with his messy self gonna say she got a life-threatening odor issue in her defense. And then in confessional he says, oh, you have stars in your eyes trying to go get the performance. And then you don't even fall through with it. Let's see how you get booked in Hollywood. First and foremost, Jay Will, before that even happened, you was upset that she took the gig because you didn't get the spot. You brought her there to audition. You didn't even want her to perform because you weren't performing. And now she got something better. All of a sudden you gonna talk about she didn't even fall through for the book and the gig. Like, are you serious? Anyway, so he basically sits down and drinks with Mr. Ray, says, that's why we friends. I'm just like, yo, people are so shady. With friends like that, who needs enemies? So he basically says, if Auntie Ray wants candy, Auntie Ray would get candy. So now he's agreed to perform. Of course, he needs that bread. So he agreed to perform for Mr. Ray. And then he decides to say in confessional that not only will he perform, but he's also going to do something about those unevenly drawn eyebrows. So there's a little cunningness to the situation that's going on with Jay Will. So now we're back in London again, you guys. It's like we always going back to London. When they gonna come back to Hollywood? So we're in London again, and the girls are sitting down about to have something to eat. So the group of ladies that's left, Moniece included, are sitting at the table, getting along, their last day in London, and they're getting themselves something to eat. They're clearing the air with each other, and they ask Moniece how she's feeling. She says she's in a great mood, the vibe is right. And then over to the side, you could see Tiara Marie's face, and she looks extremely salty. Moni says that she's able to clear the air with Brittany. She was able to clear the air with Brooke. And the only thing she hasn't cleared is the little vibe and tension between her and TT. Tiara basically says, I want to take a step back from the friendship because I'm just not comfortable with your friend talking. And basically, Tiara feels like Moniece is friends with somebody who is talking to her man. Like she said in her confessional, she doesn't really see Akbar as an ex. She still sees Akbar as her man. And because she still sees Akbar as her man and not really her abuser, it's like she's trying to play both sides of the fence. I feel sorry for Moniece because Moniece has been nothing but a good friend to Tiara. Tiara's upset because K. Michelle, who is grown, is speaking to Akbar. You shouldn't care who Akbar is speaking to if you consider yourself a victim to Akbar's abuse. And just like Brooke pointed out, even though Brooke is messy, Brooke did point out the obvious, that obviously Tiara does not see this man as an abuser if she's so pressed that K. Michelle is speaking to Akbar. So basically, they called it quits on their friendship. And I just wish them the best of luck. So now we're moving on to the next scene. And in the next scene, we see Shun Love and Applewatt's father meeting up. Shun Love does not understand why the father would even be meeting up anyway. He says that he wants to see the contract. She's like, well, for? He basically wants to know what Shun Love's intentions are with his daughter. And she's like, what's your intentions? Your daughter needs this. She needs her teeth fixed. She needs a place, she needs this. And he's like, well, what that got to do with me? She said, well, then what you got to do with me? He wants to basically know if they can he basically wants to know if Shun Love would like help in the managerial department when it comes to Apple Watch. And this is what's so crazy to me. He doesn't want to do anything for her financially, yet he wants to take part in what she got going on with her contract. Then he has the nerve to tell Shun Love that he may not even be her father. So if you're not even playing a real fatherly role, you want to come on the clouds and be father of the year to Apple all of a sudden after not being in her life. You want to know what's going on with her contract and her money situation, but you're not even financially responsible for her. Now you want to take from what's out of her pocket? You want to profit off of a girl that you don't even know is your daughter or not? Like, this is just creepy to me. I look at him so differently after this episode. I mean, I've been looking at him shady anyway, but it just is all coming clear now. Brooke meets up with Akbar to discuss the situation. She feels like Tiara was acting really jealous in London when Kay was hanging out with Akbar via live, so she went to find out the tea from the horse's mouth. Akbar met up with Brooke, apologized, and said that, he wished or he's sad that things did not work out between him and Brooke back in the day. Brooke says they never stood a chance. And she basically says she knows that if she wanted to be number one in Akbar's life, she could. So she gonna go ahead and play the string so she could find out all the information. Akbar tells her that Tiara and him never stopped talking. Even after the press conference, they were still together. And she flew out to Dallas to see him before she flew to London. So he says he's going to send her those receipts. Brooke is flabbergasted at what is going on and the tea that she has heard. I think it was a little bit too hot for her taste. Paris is going to be in a movie, you guys. So Paris is on the set of one of her new movies that she's going to be playing part in alongside Amara La Negra, and she meets up with Amara in a trailer, and they discussing the whole London situation. Then she goes on to discuss the whole Kay situation, saying that Kay wants to break her, and it's not about the money because Kay never gave her a chance to offer to pay her back any money. Amara tells her, Kay's not going to stop talking about it if she feels some type of way. And she just says she just wants Kay to leave her alone because Kay's trying to make her look like a whole real thief to other people. And it is not that deep. She feels that Kay's just doing too much. Now we're on another part of LA where we see Moniece and Kay together. They're eating. Moniece is telling Kay what happened in London and how Paris feels like she's been left out to dry. Kay Michelle says that she doesn't really feel like it's about a numbers thing. It's just the fact that you've done something to me that you weren't supposed to do, and you're trying to justify what you did as, oh, it wasn't a big deal. Brooke sits in on their little dinner and she exposes Tierra. She basically shows K Michelle confirmation of the flight by showing her the copy of the flight tickets that Akbar sent her, as well as a video of him dropping her back to the airport after the whole Lisa Bloom situation so that she can catch her flight to go to London. They're sitting there like they can't believe her and Moniece, well, Brooke and Moniece can't believe that they sat with her at the press conference and empathized with her, to then see that she's still in communication with Akbar. Kay says she has no loyalty to Tierra because her and Tierra are not friends, and she's just trying to find out what was going on. It's just so messy. So now we're going to go ahead and go to the next scene. Candy's about to perform on stage, and before Candy performs, Candy tells Mr. Ray she has a surprise for him. So he's like, surprises? I don't do well with surprises. Donatella is there cheering the whole thing on. Candy goes up there and performs. Right after the performance, makes an announcement that Jay Will actually went to audition, and Jay Will was not treated fairly as a gay man who's trying to make it and be himself, but he was told not to be himself. And Mr. Ray was the one who downed him, and he wants answers. Mr. Ray says, I'm not about to do this with you. Let's go over to the side. Mr. Ray then explains that back in 2006, being gay was tolerated and now is celebrated. And it took people like him to make strides in the industry so that people like Jay Will and Candy would have places and opportunities to perform. He said he's not downing Jay Will. He just feels like the song that was chosen that he tried to perform was not something that would have been live and lit for gay pride. Jay Will still felt offended and walked off. Now we're on to the last scene where we see Kay, Michelle, and Paris meeting up yet again. Kay basically says that Paris is a thief. Paris explains that night she was drunk. She did go and ask Moniece to call Kay and say what she stole because that's not how it went. Kay Michelle says she's been very quiet. She brings out the receipts, like Paris pulls out some ones out her bag asking her how much it is, which I feel is very insulting. So Kay's like, what? Oh my God, like you pulling out some ones? Paris is like, well, how much was it? It was a $50 Uber ride. Kay says, no, fraud. It was over $300. She runs down how much was taken at each time that it was taken. And it looked like a lot on that paper there. It didn't look like no one Uber ride. But they basically insulted each other. And Paris went and threw juice all in Kay's face. Well, then we find out Kay was actually released from the hospital the day before that was filmed. And she knew she couldn't fight her. But she still threw the juice in her face anyway, even when she was sick. So, yeah. That's basically how that episode ended. So that was the recap of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 5, Episode 12, Last Tango in Paris. And, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Definitely going to be getting the next Love and Hip Hop Hollywood review tomorrow. So, until we catch up. So, till next time, you guys. Bye.